The hardest part is not rejection, it's wondering whether you imagine the connection completely. She looks at you, then away, and somehow that tiny moment ruins your whole day. Her replies feel warm one week, distant the next, and your brain keeps filling gaps. You replay everything, because mixed signals hurt more than clear disinterest ever does. And most guys miss the truth because they watch confidence, not comfort. A shy woman and an uninterested woman can look similar for about 30 seconds. After that, their patterns start separating, and once you see them, everything gets easier. Because shy energy pulls back while still orbiting you, but disinterest usually drifts away. That difference sounds small, but it saves you from chasing people who are never leaning in. And it also saves you from giving up on someone who actually likes you. Here is the first thing almost nobody notices when a woman feels shy around you. She does not just avoid you, she avoids being obvious around you. That means she still tracks your presence even while pretending not to. Her body may close, but her attention still opens in little accidental ways. She remembers random details, notices your mood, or reacts when another woman gets close. Interest hides differently than indifference, and this is where most men confuse silence. Silence from shyness feels charged, like something wants to happen but keeps getting interrupted. Silence from disinterest feels flat, like nothing meaningful is happening beneath the surface at all. You can feel that difference even before you fully explain it yourself. That uneasy confusion you feel is often data, not weakness, and definitely not desperation. A shy woman may look away fast, but she usually looks back when pressure drops. An uninterested woman rarely returns once the moment passes because her attention already left. That return glance matters because attraction often leaks through monitoring, even when words stay cautious. She wants information about you without risking too much of herself yet. That is not games, at least not usually. It is nervous system self-protection. People think confidence creates attraction, but comfort reveals whether attraction was there already. So stop judging her feelings only by boldness, because boldness depends on personality, not desire. Some women flirt like fireworks, and some women like you quietly from behind locked doors. If you only understand loud interest, you will misread quiet attraction as rejection. But there is another trap, and this one hurts even more later. Sometimes you call her shy because that explanation protects your ego from a simpler truth. She is not nervous, she is just polite, and politeness can mimic warmth terrifyingly well. That is why you cannot rely on one signal, one text, or one awkward conversation. You need patterns, because patterns expose intention better than isolated moments ever will. Here is the easiest pattern to watch when you want honest answers. Does she return to your world after distance, or only respond when context forces it? Shy women often circle back indirectly, through jokes, small questions, or random shared references. Uninterested women almost never invest energy reopening doors. They feel no need to enter. Attraction creates return behavior, even when courage is low and timing is messy. Indifference creates minimal behavior because people protect effort when nothing emotionally meaningful is attached. Watch her around groups because social pressure reveals more than private messages ever do. If she likes you but feels shy, she often becomes strangely aware of your reactions. She laughs a little harder, goes quieter, or suddenly edits herself when you notice. That self-editing is important because people rarely manage impressions around someone they truly dismiss. An uninterested woman does not need your approval enough to become self-conscious. She may still be kind, but her behavior stays smooth, casual, and emotionally unhooked. A shy woman, though, often glitches a little because your presence raises the stakes. Her voice changes, her timing changes, or her eye contact becomes weirdly inconsistent. That inconsistency is not always bad news, and sometimes it is the biggest clue. People become consistent when relaxed, and inconsistent when they care how they land. Here's where texting confuses almost everybody, especially men who overvalue speed. Fast replies do not always mean desire, and slow replies do not always mean rejection. Shy interest often shows up as thoughtful replies, uneven timing, and sudden disappearing after closeness. Why does that happen? Because vulnerability feels exciting until it starts feeling visible. So she opens, feels exposed, then retreats to regulate herself before returning again. That push-pull rhythm can signal shyness, not manipulation, when warmth keeps returning underneath it. Disinterest looks different because the warmth does not really return once momentum drops. You are left doing all the reviving, all the asking, and all the emotional lifting. If you constantly have to create the connection, there probably is no connection. And that treat stings, but it also frees you from beautiful confusion. Another sign most people miss is how she behaves when competition enters the room. A shy woman may not flirt openly, but she notices when your attention moves elsewhere. Her energy shifts, her listening sharpens, or she quietly tries to reappear in focus. She will not always make a bold claim on you, but she feels it. Interest creates sensitivity to displacement, even in people who hate admitting they care. Uninterested women usually do not become observably reactive when someone else takes your attention. They may be friendly, but nothing in them tightens when you drift away. That tightening matters because attraction changes what the brain treats as potentially important. And people protect important things, even when they pretend not to want them. Now let us talk about teasing, because this is where many men completely misread tone. Some shy women tease lightly because direct vulnerability feels too exposed and too obvious. Playfulness can be camouflage, a safer way to create closeness without formally declaring interest. But uninterested teasing feels different because it never really opens any emotional door. It stays social, detached, and replaceable, like she could do it with anyone nearby. Shy attraction teasing usually carries private texture, little references, special timing, or focused attention. It feels like the joke is secretly about connection, not just entertainment. That difference matters because real interest narrows attention instead of spreading it everywhere. Here is another clue that saves people months of overthinking and self-torture. Watch whether she becomes more comfortable over repeated interactions, even if the progress is slow. Shyness usually softens with safety, but disinterest rarely improves with familiarity alone. This changes everything because time only helps when there is hidden willingness underneath the nerves. If weeks pass and she still gives nothing but politeness, believe the pattern. Do not fall in love with potential when reality keeps submitting the same report. At the same time, do not punish a shy woman for not performing certainty instantly. Some of the best connections start awkward, uneven, and almost invisible to everyone else. That is why patience matters, but only when patience is meeting actual reciprocation. Reciprocation does not have to be loud, it just has to be real. She asks back, remembers details, reopens conversations, or creates little reasons to stay connected. That is investment, and investment is the language interest speaks before competence arrives. Now here is the mistake that destroys shy attraction faster than rejection ever could. Men sense hesitation, panic, then start performing, chasing, over-messaging, and demanding clarity. That pressure does not create certainty, it destroys the fragile safety she needed. A shy woman does not need interrogation, she needs room to move at her own speed. If you rush the answer, you often manufacture the rejection you feared. Social pressure makes people protect themselves, and protection can look colder than intention. So your job is not forcing certainty, it is creating ease and observing. Ease reveals truth faster than pressure because real feelings survive space better than fear. Try this instead when you are unsure whether she is shy or uninterested. Lower the intensity slightly, stay warm, and see whether she starts moving closer. That movement can be tiny, but tiny movement still tells you plenty. She replies with a little more personality, holds eye contact longer, or initiates something small. Those are green lights from a nervous system still learning that you are safe. Uninterested women usually do not move closer when you reduce pressure and remain grounded. They simply enjoy the easier atmosphere without adding any new energy themselves. That distinction is huge because both types like comfort, but only one uses it. Comfort invites the shy woman forward, while it merely relaxes the uninterested one. Here is another hidden signal, and it often appears after the conversation ends. Does she think about you later enough to create a reason to reconnect? That follow-up says more than her nervousness ever could in the moment. Shy attraction often becomes braver in private after the social risk has cooled down. She sends the meme, asks the question, reacts to the story, or continues the thread. That delayed courage still counts because interest does not need perfect timing to be real. If nothing comes later, nothing builds, and nothing deepens, Stop romanticizing the silence. You deserve signals that may be subtle, but never permanently absent either. This is not about becoming cynical. It is about becoming emotionally accurate. Emotional accuracy protects your confidence better than blind optimism ever will anyway. Because false hope does not feel romantic for long, it feels humiliating. And humiliation makes men either desperate or cold when neither response is necessary. What you need is calibration, the ability to read behavior without begging it to mean more. That skill makes you calmer, sharper, and strangely more attractive almost immediately. Why? Because people trust those who do not force outcomes from every uncertain moment. Neediness misreads signals because it wants relief, not truth, and women can feel that. Calm observation feels different because it gives her space without withdrawing your self-respect. If she is shy, that space helps her unfold instead of shutting down. If she is uninterested, that same space reveals the truth faster and cleaner. Either way, you win, because you stop drowning in stories and start reading reality. And once you start reading reality, your whole dating life becomes less exhausting. You stop chasing chemistry that only existed inside your own anxious interpretation. You stop punishing quiet women for not being loud versions of extroverts. And you stop begging emotionally unavailable people to finally act interested back. That is real confidence, not pretending everyone likes you, but seeing clearly who does. Clear vision beats fake certainty, because fake certainty makes you cling to illusions. And illusions are expensive, especially when they keep you waiting beside closed doors. So if she seems distant, do not immediately label yourself unattractive or doomed. First, ask a better question. Is she pulling back from you or from exposure? Then watch the pattern, the returns, the effort, the warmth, and the easing. That combination tells the truth more reliably than any single dramatic moment. And once you learn that, uncertainty stops feeling like a personal attack. It becomes information, and information gives you power without making you colder. So read the energy, respect the pattern, and never confuse silence with the same silence. The shy woman is not a puzzle to conquer. She is a person to read gently. And the uninterested woman is not a verdict on you, just misaligned timing or desire. The more calmly you accept that, the less mixed signals can control you. Because your peace should never depend on forcing certainty from somebody else's hesitation. Learn the difference, trust the pattern, and your instincts will stop betraying you. Then when real interest appears, you will recognize it without panic or self-sabotage. And when it is absent, you will walk away early, intact, and still confident. That alone makes you rarer because most people would rather fantasize than observe honestly. So if this hit uncomfortably close, good. That means you are finally seeing clearly. And clear men move differently, choose better, and stop wasting heartbeats on unreadable noise.